Hello to everyone who is watching us or about to watch us. This is David Ito, and we also
Michael
have
Smith. Hey,
Michael
y'all.
Smith. All
Excited
right,
to
so
interact with y'all.
yeah. This is really exciting. Um, let's hope that this is actually streaming to the right places. We set it up so that it's going to the right places. But in any case, this is getting recorded, and then we can just rewatch it, replay it later. But so I just wanted to start saying that um, I'd like to ask you a few questions about yourself. That's okay?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Michael. So, just for the people who are watching us, um, who are you, and what kind of work do you do?
Yeah. I'm a spiritual guide, spiritual mentor, medical intuitive, shamanic practitioner, ceremonialist, retreat leader. My passion is to think outside the box and connect my clients um, to their highest selves, the best version of themselves. And right now on the planet Earth, there's so many of us, especially men, that are feeling disconnected and from their passion, their purpose, and really being distracted and pulled under, David. And you know this. I know you see this, and I'm curious as to what you've been noticing too. But my passion, and I want to hear yours, your passion. My passion is to help men reconnect with their high selves.
Yeah. So, um, it's it's been, I think, 2 years since we met at a place called Easton Mountain. It's a retreat center upstate New York. And so you, Michael, were facilitating a bunch of workshops, and I was too. In fact, we have been chosen to be group leaders. And so I got to see how you work. And I think there's a lot of crossover between what you do and I do. We definitely work to help people, men mostly in my case, just live a healthier, more connected, more purposeful life. And these are like really big words, and sometimes it's difficult to grasp what it is to try to achieve a healthier, more purposeful life. But it's kind of become also my purpose in life, starting with myself, because I was in a not so good place some years ago, health wise, mental health wise, just socially, mentally. It was these were challenging times, and through that recovery, let's call it, I was able to start working on myself, and then saw what worked, what didn't work, and then became a health coach, and then became a longevity coach. So yeah, it's a fascinating topic for me, health and connectedness, and it's so much more than just the physical part, body, mind, spirit. Like, it's part of my philosophy. I know it's part of your philosophy, and I think that's why you and I connected. So I just want to say hi because I can see that there are people online watching us already. So guys, those of you who had just connected, welcome. This is Michael Smith. I'm David Ito, and we're just having kind of a very chill conversation, not scripted, about um, men's resilience and men connection to ourselves, and how these are really challenging times. So I just wanted to kind of give you a heads up of what we've been talking about. So, Michael, so you mentioned, the spirituality and the work that you do. You have impressive background, obviously. Like, what kind of work do you do exactly um, with with your clients, with your people? What kind of work do you do? All right, I think we're having some technical issues, and Michael is coming back, but Um, this is just part of the live show, I guess. So let me just keep going and talking about um, the the topic we're talking about today. The title is "Why Modern Men Are Running on Empty," which is kind of a catchy title. But just to say that running on empty often becomes our default. Running on empty becomes just, how we go through life. And if we don't realize how we're running on empty, then it becomes a pattern. It becomes just the norm. And life just gets more complicated. Physically, we don't enjoy our bodies when our bodies are not healthy. Oh, hey, there we go. Michael's back. Yes, we're having some temp problems, but this is just part of the live show. Michael, I was just telling our viewers that we are talking about running on empty and about the things that kind of keep us running on empty. So, according to you and the work that you do, like what's keeping guys running on empty? What's keeping guys kind of stuck in these loops and these patterns of being tired and lethargy and not motivation and just, we just stick to what we do like a hamster in a wheel.
Uh, David, I don't know if you can hear me or not, but we're having some connection issues. But can you hear me?
Yeah, perfectly.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. Great. Yeah. It's the state of the world. We're getting pulled under, and what we need to do and what we want to do is develop a routine. We want to develop a physical routine, if you will, where we're connecting uh, to not just our highest self or connecting to the best version of our, but connecting to each other, connecting and ritualizing our connect experiences. So we receive the benefits of that. We can either have disconnection and being pulled under by the problems of the world, which a lot of my clients are struggling with right now, or we can find ways to connect. That's a really important and intentional word, and we need more of that to each other and to ourselves.
Yeah, no, for sure. Connection is key. And you and I have been talking for years about how, even now it's declared a loneliness epidemic and how it's hitting us, and we're not realizing how it's hitting us. And I think the pandemic really hurt us, and we kind of got just used to being stuck to our screens, um, having less in-person contact and connections, things being very kind of chat-based, emoticon-based. And I work with a lot of guys via Zoom on screen, and there's a lot of good work that we can do. But social connections in person, oh God, it's so much better. And we're just getting comfortable. We're getting comfortable in being behind a screen and not making the extra effort. So, yeah, the disconnect is huge. And it starts with us just not showing up to all those, like social, family, friend connections and event, just events in general. So, these are really hard times, and there's a lot of uncertainty right now in the world. There's a lot going on politically, there's a lot going on economically, and these are scary times, and it's so easy to just get stuck on this little devil, and then that's all we do. It's like a pacifier. Any thoughts on that?
You know? Yeah, no, I mean we have to be intentional. This is a key for all of us to be intentional about awareness over how we can get lost and doom scrolling. I've been very intentional myself about I will go on Facebook or social media. I have to because of my work, of course. But for maybe I can tolerate 5 minutes before I start to literally notice, like mentally, this fog and energetically a fog overcoming me. So where I used to spend like an hour at a time a year ago, I can only spend 5, 7 10 minutes tops before I disconnect and seek experiences. I live in a forest, so I just go out and play with my dog or touch some trees or something like that to get off that device because it's toxic. It's designed to manipulate us, and it's partially succeeding, but we are stronger. Uh, and our intentions are stronger. And the fact that we're having this discussion, David, and it's very juicy, I know is going to inspire a lot of us to get off and intentionally cultivate connections with our media and what we ingest, like things like this, where that are discussions that are thought provoking and inspiring.
Totally, totally. And right now I'm seeing, a number of people watching us live is growing, which is great. So welcome everyone who's watching us. Some of you might have just arrived. So today's topic is about the human disconnect. And Michael and I were just talking about the importance of social connection, human connection, and how technology, AI, I'm seeing it in myself. Like more AI tools means I'm spending more time on these screens, and it's driving me crazy. So, yes, the the need to stop, and I think it's almost like not just inevitable. It's like we have to remind ourselves we need to stop and just be with ourselves. This going, going, doing is killing us,
Mhm.
literally our physical health and our mental health. And having a spiritual practice like we do obviously helps. And it's not about, um, dogma. It's just about connecting more deeply to ourselves and to what's important to ourselves.
What do you, David, for in order to stay connected mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually? What do you have a routine that works for you?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think today, one of the reasons why we wanted to go live is because we wanted to share with the guys watching us our routines. You've got your guys, I've got my guys. You're in California, I'm in New York City. We're bringing like our energies together to just tell people what we do and what works for us. It doesn't mean that we have all the answers, but I think having a system, let's call it a system, is important. And so
Mhm.
we're not just like leaves in the air. So my system is based on breath work, breath work, being aware of breath. And it sounds like a simple thing. It's like, no, it actually requires practice, like breathing mindfully and catching myself when I'm not breathing mindfully and my breath is all over the place and my breath is shallow. So I have this very conscious breath practice. And I wake up first thing in the morning, I start breathing mindfully. Sometimes, like guys who come to my Saturday men's online group, and we breathe counting. So whether it's breathing counting, there's different techniques, different counts, or just breathe, just being mindful of the breath. So breath is number one. Two is movement. And I'll share a,
Mhm.
personal story. If just it's just kind of like my biology and my circadian rhythm. If I don't get my movement, exercise, walking, just moving my body in the first half of the day, it's very difficult for me to like do it later. So I just know myself. And so I just program my day. Ideally, it's even before noon. Ideally, it's before 10 a.m., which is when I start seeing clients. So whether it's yoga, different kinds of yoga, whether it's just I'm lucky that my building has a gym, so just go downstairs and do some treadmill, do some elliptical, do some resistance training, but definitely movement. So for me, breath work, movement, and then, as I said before, stillness, meditation, mindfulness, and just try to bring stillness into my body and to my mind. It's a total reboot. I mean, it's better than any kind of medicine. So yeah, those are the kind of the three things that are in my toolbox. And I'd love to hear about yours.
I, same movement,
breath, stillness all activate physiological processes in us to, especially the vagus nerve. I mean, when we talk about the vagus nerve, the fight or flight, what you know, the nerve that allows us to feel still is activated through breath. So for myself, I just came from a hot yoga class a few hours ago. I do that 4 times a week religiously. I make it an intentional ceremony. I connect to my higher self, to spirit, if you will, when I'm in the class. I do a whole bunch of other ceremonies. Ecstatic dance movement, that's one of my big ones. I love singing, so I do chanting, kirtan. Um, I do Buddha Sangha, I do other ceremonies, Lakota Sweat Lodge, which all of these practices that I do, I mean, I build my life around connection to others, social connections, and that is so fulfilling. I mean, we get all the oxytocin from these as well. When we get uh, social connections, we really feel like others are hugging us, the universe is hugging us energetically, our brain waves change into the theta state. So, if you are not, or let's put it this way, if you are seeking connections with yourself and others, you're going to get a host of physiological benefits, as David and I both receive through the breath work, synchronizing the breath movement, and then finding that still point within. And that is the commonality in our work, David. And that's why was why we had a connection when we were at Easton Mountain a couple of years ago.
Yes, yes. I mean, it's not for nothing that we became friends. Like if we have similar practices and similar mindset and approach towards life. Um, but out of all of these, I think the hardest one for guys to do is the social connection. And again, we're not talking about being online and on like social media and stuff. I'm talking about the in person, because the breath work you can do by yourself, the movement you can do by yourself, the meditation you can do by yourself. If we go beyond, nutrition, sleep, these are kind of all in my wheelhouse. This is the stuff that I coach guys about. But finding valuable, like a tribe, people, men who are like-minded, like-spirited, and not just on a chit-chat text, but like actual in person. It's so hard. It's really hard for me in New York City, Michael. Like I am just
Mm.
like live in a tiny little apartment in Manhattan. I love it here, but it's like just the mere size of the city, it's overwhelming. And I have millions of people around me. What about the people who live in a rural area, somewhere, whatever country they live in, and they just don't even have the chance to find, the like-minded, like-spirited people. So I think that building community needs to be a priority for all of us, and we need to take action on that.
We cannot be lone wolf anymore. Absolutely, it's so true that it's a currency. It's a form of energetic currency that is worth its weight in gold and then some. We have the world fragmented, divided, and the powers that be intentionally trying to disconnect us. There is a nefarious agenda going on with social media, with those that run the media. There is an intention that I can feel, and I'm sure many of the viewers can feel, being sensitive to energy that they do not have. Those that pull things and control media, do not necessarily have our best interests at heart, because they're trying to divide and disconnect. Act that you take. Think right now, those of you that are engaged with us, if you've made it thus far, what is one small action that you can take today, in the next 24 hours, to reconnect yourself with yourself, number one, and with others, number two, even if that's just sending a voice text. I love to send voice text.
I
Or
know.
making a phone call. Um, Along those lines, that gets energy moving, and connection is currency.
Yeah, so much. So true. So true. Honestly, I think that people who have strong connections, friends, family, partners, are the ones who will end up being most resilient because as you said, it's gold. It's the highest
Mhm.
value currency. And it also keeps us accountable. You know, you and I are coaches. You know, coaches, for those of you who are watching us,
Mhm.
oh, by the way, like if you any of you watching us want to drop a message in whatever platform you're in, YouTube or Facebook or Instagram, just
Please
know that
do.
we can read them. So just feel free to send us messages or ask us questions. We still have a few more minutes and we're happy to answer. But just coming back to what
Yeah,
we're
let us
saying,
know where
Michael,
you're from.
about yeah, yeah, all that good stuff. So, I really think that creating community and when we don't have community just at arm's reach, because sometimes that's just not available, then of course, online community is a great like option. I mean, so let me ask you about your work, Michael. Like, do you work one-on-ones? Do you work groups? Like all the good stuff that we've been talking about, like how do you share them with the world?
Yeah, I love doing personal mentoring sessions. I they're it's guidance. I'm a former therapist, so I have those skills in my wheelhouse. I help people overcome challenges in the sessions. I teach a lot of classes, both online and in person. I offer retreats. I'm doing a retreat here. It still is available in June. And I'm doing a retreat, a queer centered focused retreat in Fiji over the New Year. So all of these ceremony offering anything that's intentional. My definition of ceremony is an intentional connection to our highest self, uh, and often in with others. And that's what really lights me up and jazzes me. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm just gonna kind of piggyback on something that you said, and it's about ceremony. And maybe for some people, ceremony sounds something very, I don't know, like it's just not their vibe. They think ceremonial is dogma, is you're stuck to a system, a religious group, or a cult or whatever. But my understanding of ceremony is has several elements. One of them is like the sacredness of ourselves, or taking care of ourselves. As simple as that. Like you
Hmm.
shower, you brush your teeth. Why wouldn't you also take care as ceremoniously as you do brushing your teeth in the morning to do all the other things that are necessary to be whole, to be wholesome? And so for me, ceremony is about creating A, the importance, and B, the habits towards creating those, those systems that will keep you in a much better place.
I absolutely love that because I'm so glad you pointed that out because ceremony is a way of life and it has nothing to do with religion. It has nothing to do with dogma. It often has nothing to do with spirituality, which can be a nefarious or not nefarious, nebulous concept for some of us. Ceremony is what I do every morning is the moment I wake up, I walk downstairs, the first thing that I do after getting out of bed is drink a glass of water, and I put my intention to have the water be blessed. I say, may this water nourish, cleanse my body, release any impurities, and then I set my intention for the day. And I literally feel energy coming out of my hands and going into that water. And that is a simple act. It takes 20 seconds. That is an act of ceremony or intention, that allows us to, I mean, it works because the power of our thoughts is enormous. And when we attach a intentional thought to a relatively mundane action, um, the energy, the creation, the manifestation, and the life force that comes back to us, the law of attraction, is enormous.
Totally, 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 totally. I agree 100% with you, Michael. Um, so whether you call it sacredness, whether you call it ceremony, whether you call it just the importance of things, um, it's important to give them value. So also, we're talking, you said mentioned you do some retreats. Um, and I just wanted to bring up something that you and I are doing in a couple weeks. So
Mhm.
let's bring it up. Yeah, there's this retreat that
Yeah.
Michael and I are hosting on May 3rd. It's a Sunday. And so Michael has a lot of guys, a lot of people in California, have more people in the East Coast. So we try to work out a time that works kind of for everyone. So what is it? Michael, do you want to tell us about the retreat that we're doing?
Yeah, it's the Resilient Men Spring Reset. We're in the energy of spring right now. What better time? Both David and I agreed. We thought this is the perfect season, the time to capture the energy of growth, evolution, and momentum that comes with spring. So, what we're going to be doing, David, and feel free to elaborate, is spending a couple of hours together to really prioritize, get new momentum, clarity around your life's questions, your intentions, and we're unifying the physical. We're going to be doing movement practices, breath work, meditation, deep meditation, probably deeper than many of you have experienced. And these things uh, will truly give you new momentum towards all of the things you're seeking to bring into your life.
Yeah, and something that I'd like to add, Michael, is that the timing is key. Not only because, as you said, spring is kind of like the best time of the year to do this kind of work where we're just reconnecting, resetting, with ourselves, with our intentions, with our values, with our things that are important, like all the good stuff that you and I were talking about today. Um, but it's also about like the timing, the times. We're going through really difficult times. And I think a lot of guys need an anchor, need grounding. And so this is what we're trying to do, offer in this 3-hour retreat is a chance to reset, reground, recalibrate with simple tools. Nothing crazy, but when you put them together, that's when they become just so powerful. And like you just said, Michael, I run a Saturday group and we do breath work, we do meditation. And what we're going to be doing on Sunday, May 3rd, it's like a little bit I'm not going to say more intense, but because we have more time, we're going to be able to go deeper. So for a lot of the guys who are really seeking that chance, that opportunity to just stop and go a little bit deeper in this reconnect, because right now their lives do not feel connected. This is it. And I do not know of any other retreat of this sort online. Like I went through Eventbrite, I went through like all these other meetups. It's like I don't see anyone doing this kind of work, especially for men. This is just for men. So it's a whole different vibe. It's a whole different mindset. And I'm just really excited. I want to give you also a chance to say maybe a few more words before we start wrapping up about, the retreat and anything else you want to add.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to get practical tools in the retreat, and just to ask yourself, leaving with you with the final thought, what is it that you are connecting to? What do you want to connect to? Do you want to be default. If you're default and you're not intentional, an important word, you will be disconnected from your true self, your passion, your purpose, and that's no fun. So just really ask yourself the question as we leave today, well, what am I connecting to? What do I want to connect to? And how can I maybe even take a step outside of my comfort zone and move towards accountability? This retreat is one way to do that.
Yeah. So, Michael, how can people check out your work? How can people sign up to the retreat? It's an online retreat, by the way, guys. I don't know if we actually said it. It's an online retreat. It's via Zoom. Yeah, go ahead.
We can drop the link, when this will be replayed. And if you're watching it live or on replay, there's an Eventbrite page, and David has the sign up page on his website. So that's where we're directing folks to sign up, is on David's website. On my website, if you want to find out more about my work, you can go to empathconnection.com and sign up. Make sure to sign up for my mailing list. I send a weekly column out every week on Mondays.
Yeah, awesome. And let me just share mine. Mine is daviditowellness.com. And there you can find about the work that I do, but also you'll get the details about the upcoming event. So, Michael, I think yeah, it's been half an hour. We said we were going to stick to half an hour. We're pretty good at it. I just want to thank. Right now we've got seven people watching us. Thank you for joining us this evening. Michael and I are really excited to bring out and share like what works for us, the tools, because it's just so ever more important to take care of ourselves. And men, I'm sorry to say, we're not very good at asking for help. So hopefully some of the stuff that we shared is useful to you guys. And if you're interested in more, just check out our websites and join us for this really unique retreat that we're doing on May 3rd. All right, Michael, great to see you.
Great to see you, David.
Have a great evening.
Yeah.
Take care.
Have a
Bye, guys.
great
Bye,
evening.
everyone who's watching us.
Take care.
Bye.